I can't wait for my brother's wedding tomorrow, I told my aunt, smiling as I adjusted the sleeve of my shirt. Her face froze. Then she said quietly, "It was last week." The room spun. My chest tightened. My own brother had gotten married, and no one told me. I forced a smile, nodded, and swallowed the knife that had just been lodged in my throat. That was the moment I stopped being their fool. My brother and I weren't always strangers. I was the one who defended him when kids at school mocked his stutter. I was the one who patched his bike, covered for him when he failed classes, slipped him money when Dad wouldn't. I thought blood was loyalty, that one day all that I gave would be returned. But slowly, I noticed the shift. Invitations to dinners that somehow never reached me. Family photos where I was always cropped out. Conversations that ended the second I entered the room. I told myself it was paranoia, but when my aunt's words shattered the illusion, I realized it wasn't. They had erased me. The evidence piled up quickly. I checked social media that night. Pictures of the wedding beamed back at me, my parents, my cousins, my so-called friends. Everyone smiling, raising glasses. My brother standing with his bride, grinning wide. And me? Not a single mention. Not even a lie about why I wasn't there. Just absence. That was the betrayal. Not just exclusion, but erasure. They hadn't forgotten me. They had chosen to pretend I didn't exist. I didn't rage. I didn't call. I planned. Because revenge isn't about screaming in the moment. It's about waiting for the silence after. A month later, the silence broke. My mother's voice came through the phone, unusually sweet. "Your brother and his wife need a place for their honeymoon. We were hoping they could use your lake house." The same lake house I had bought with years of sweat, years of overtime. The place I had once pictured us all celebrating together. I let the silence stretch until she grew nervous. Then I said, calm and clear, "No." She gasped. "What do you mean, no?" "It's not available," I replied, and hung up. That was step one. Step two was distance. I cut off access piece by piece. No more holiday invites. No more use of my car, my money, my connections. When they asked for help, I smiled and said, "I'm busy. Busy building a life without them. Busy feeding the people who had actually stood by me. Busy remembering who I was when their shadows weren't cast over me." Step three was exposure. When relatives asked why I wasn't at the wedding, I didn't hide the truth. I wasn't invited. Simple, blunt. Let the shame settle where it belonged. The whispers started then. Eyes began turning, not at me, but at them. The confrontation came weeks later. My brother showed up at my door, his bride behind him. His smile was forced, brittle. "You've changed," he said. "No," I corrected. "I've stopped playing my part." He shifted, frustrated. "It was just one event." I tilted my head. "My wedding would have been just one event too. Tell me, would you have missed it?" He didn't answer. His silence was confession enough. My mother called that night, her voice trembling with anger. "You're tearing the family apart." I laughed, low, cold. "You did that the moment you tore me out of it." By the time summer came, the balance had shifted. My lake house sat untouched, a sanctuary of my own making. My phone rang less and less, and when it did, it wasn't to mock or demand, it was to plead. But I never gave in, because true revenge isn't about burning bridges. It's about watching them realize they can't cross without you. Now, when I sit by the water at my lake house, I breathe freely. The air is clean. The silence is mine. I think back to the moment my aunt told me it was last week. The shock, the pain, the betrayal. And then I think of the moment I said, no. Small word, heavy weight. It was the first time they heard me. The first time I chose myself. They wanted me invisible, disposable. But now, it's them knocking at doors that no longer open. Revenge wasn't shouting, it wasn't breaking. It was a single refusal. It was absence. It was letting them choke on the emptiness they carved when they cut me out. And me? I've never been more alive.